Alright, hello everyone, how are you all doing today? I myself am doing rather well and ready to do another character profile video for Higher Than the Sky. Now, if you're not familiar with my channel, this is the first time you're checking out a video from me, um, what I like to do every Friday is to do a character profile from a comic series that I have in the works, or that's how I'd at least like to think of it, because I'm not an artist myself, so unfortunately, I'm basically in a position where I have to save up money for the eventual artist. But that gives me time to build an audience here on YouTube and other platforms to see just how popular I can make this thing before things really start to get going. Now, so today I will be going over Miss Glory from Higher Than the Sky, which, if you don't know, you can check out early drafts of on Wattpad, which I will of course link in the description down below. Now, Miss Glory is the fourth Slum Lord from the underground that I am going over. I have already done Boss Wreck, Granny Nobody, and Big Business. So those guys play heavily into the story, and now we're getting into a character that plays less of a role, but of course still being a huge part of the background and things of that nature, how the world economy works and things of like that. So Miss Glory, I've kind of taken, as you can see, the inspiration from the Looney Tunes short. Now, in the short, this bellboy kind of dreams of this actress or something of this nature who's coming to the town. She's named Miss Glory, and he falls asleep and starts dreaming of what this woman would be. He dreams of a high-rise city, that he's working in a five-star hotel, and that everybody's getting excited to see this woman. Miss Glory is just on everybody's lips as soon as they hear that she's going to visit. Now, the way I switch this up to work in the underground itself is so that it's not some random boy dreaming up this fantasy, but it is Miss Glory herself who is dreaming up this fantasy. She, of course, lives in the underground, this place of squalor and just intense amount of crime and degeneracy and things of that nature. But she thinks of herself as this sort of goddess almost. She lords over her people in a way that they worship her. So it's never much of a stretch for her to get people to do things for them. That being as well that she is the most beautiful woman in the underground. Now, I've been trying to figure out if I either want her to be on the cusp of fading, her beauty fading away, or if she is a newly appointed, her being the youngest, maybe a little older than Victor himself, maybe even younger. I think that route actually can help explore more routes with her character, as that or at least her backstory. Now, that would be to say that if she was the young version of herself, she would be, big-headed and things of that nature. She took over from the previous Slum Lord of something of that nature, and now she just kind of rules over this land through her beauty, essentially. And yeah, so she just kind of builds herself this palace in the underground. It's of course made out of a lot of junk, like all things in the underground. so it's never really going to be all that fanciful. But of course, in her head, she is trying to reach that level of pompous. I'm not too sure if that's the right word, or of regality. Maybe that's a better term for what I'm looking for. She imagines herself up to be this 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 regal person, uh, that she makes it in her head that her part of the underground is what would be considered the rich part of town, or things of that nature. So she's also very interested in collecting trinkets, not in the way that big business would. He kind of collects things that would propagate more value for him and things of that nature. She is more self-serving as she kind of gathers these trophies and things of that nature. And again, her followers are religiously following her, so they are willing to go to extremes that you don't see anywhere else in the underground for her, and that kind of helps perpetuate the cycle, at least during her rule. Yeah. So that's basically what's going on and what's influencing her backstory, essentially. During the actual parts of Higher Than the Sky, she really plays a small role in Victor's story, at least, because he just kind of drops off a package for her, and he gets out of her hair before she decides to wreck him or anything of that nature. Uh, that's a very early part in the story. Once again, I'd like to reiterate that I just don't want Victor going from district to district to district, meeting all the slum lords, Boss Wreck and Granny Wreck being exclusions because they are very easy to access. Because Granny Nobody, everybody was raised by her essentially in the underground, and Boss Wreck is basically scouting him, and then his interactions with Ms. Glory would be cut down to that one moment. But I want to fill her with this character of grandeur and things of that nature. So that's why I do like to go into these nitty-gritty details. Now, beauty is, of course, subjective to the eye of the beholder. If I were to make her to essentially my standards, I would have essentially this elf-like goddess of a woman as Ms. Glory, as the representation of Ms. Glory. So very fair features, fair skin, things like that. And she would be essentially the only one we see moving towards a traditional elf-like face and elf-like features. There aren't actually elves in the world of the Higher Than the Sky, but I think that is the best way I can describe it at the moment. Now, that about does it for her description. Once again, I'm kind of caught up with, wanting to talk about her, but not revealing what her part in the story is going to be and things of that nature. I do generally tend to talk about what influenced the character, what brought me to make them, and things of that nature, as well as their physical appearance, because physical appearance doesn't really give anything away, I would say. that being said, that about does it for this video. Now, if you have comments or questions, I feel that those are the most helpful in when I'm trying to write something, because when I'm asked a question, it always can lead to something I hadn't thought of beforehand. And so questions I find are the most helpful thing in my pursuit to flesh out this world. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and leave a like. Yeah. And for more character profiles, world building, for Higher Than the Sky, and a few other ideas I have, go ahead and subscribe. Once again, I will be doing these videos weekly on Fridays, because I kind of also don't want to burn them out too quickly, because I can do that really easily. Anyways, that about does it for me. I hope you'll all take care.